We're just doing a little sports talk today. We're live on YouTube, and we are live on Colorcast. I hope you're all doing well. Let's get started. NBA Playoffs. Last night, we had the Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks 112-87 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. They go up 1-0. Stephen Curry, 21 points and 12 rebounds. Luka, 21. He had 20 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. He struggled a little bit. Definitely a step down for what he's done the rest of the playoffs. Luka's actually he's got 10 35-point playoff games before he turned 23. It's an NBA record. But struggled a little bit last night. Warriors win 112-87. They go up 1-0. Tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time, we have Game 2, Miami and Boston. Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics. Heat lead 1-0. 8:30 on ESPN. Game 2 is in Miami. Celtics appear to be getting healthier. Marcus Smart is expected to return. He didn't play Game 1 because of a foot injury. And Al Horford, who didn't play because of health and safety protocols, he just quit the protocols, so it looks like they'll get him back as well. So that series should be a really good series. I think Miami will win it in 7, but I think that's an excellent series. In the West, Golden State and Dallas is tough to predict because on paper, Golden State's a better team. They should win in that. I could even see that series going 6 games, but definitely Golden State in 7 on paper. But when you really look at it, it's tough to see who's going to guard Luka Doncic. I mean, like last night they were able to limit him to 20 points, and he turned them all over quite a bit. And they do have Draymond Green who can guard him. I believe can guard him. Draymond's an excellent defender. Outside of Draymond, who can guard Luka, you're not going to stop Luka, but you can limit him. That should be their goal. Try to let someone else beat you, whether it's Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans, The only a couple other guys in that Dallas team that really pose any sort of threat. That's really Spencer Dinwiddie, who has played very well since he came over at the trade deadline, and Jalen Brunson, who's had a very good postseason. Outside of that, Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't scare me. Maxi Kleber doesn't really scare me at all. None of these other guys do. And Titans Talk, he's here in the chat on Colorcast. He said, believing that Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback is like believing in Santa Claus. Titans Talk is not a fan of Joe Burrow. He came on my show a few days ago. He is not a fan of Joe Burrow. He does not think Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He is not a fan. As for the NHL Playoffs, second round continued. Night 2 of the second round. Last night, Carolina Hurricanes beat the New York Rangers 2-1 in overtime. Svechnikov tied it with about 2.5 minutes left, and then Ian Cole, the OT winner. 27 saves from Monty-Rana. The Rangers actually played very well in the first 2 periods. They played very well defensively, but in the third period, they played prevent defense. And the only thing that prevent defense does in any sport is prevent you from winning. They try to just stall for your entire period, which you can't do against Carolina. They are too good. They're too talented. They're too good on both sides of the puck, and it cost them. You gotta play 60 minutes in the NHL playoff, especially against Carolina. This Carolina Hurricanes team, they didn't do that. And then you had the Flames beat the Warriors 9-6. 9-6 in a hockey game. That's crazy. Warriors, the Flames went up 3-0. Mike Smith got pulled 7 minutes into the game. They were up 5-1. The Warriors came back, made it a 1-goal game, and then the Flames ended up pulling away. They went 9-6 in Game 1. Matt Tkachuk had a hat trick, 2 goals from Blake Coleman. That was a crazy game. 9-6 in a hockey game. Like I said, I have more hope in gas prices going down than Joe Burrow without an elite wide receiver. I don't know. The way things are going, I'm not sure you should have hope for the gas prices. I hope they go down. And thank you for the compliment. You said I'm awesome. Thank you, Titans Talk. I appreciate it. We're hoping gas prices going down than Joe Burrow without an elite wide receiver. Wow. He does have a lot of weapons, Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback. Titans Talk, not so much. Today, for the NHL Playoffs at 7 o'clock tonight on TNT, we have Lightning Panthers Game 2. Tampa leads 1-0. Tampa won Game 1 4-1. And then we have the St. Louis Blues against the Colorado Avalanche at 9:30 on TNT. Colorado leads 1-0. Colorado has yet to lose a game in the postseason. They swept Nashville and they took game one. That's the Blues, so they have yet to lose a game this postseason. All right, that's the NHL Playoffs. Let's do some MLB. I'm watching the game right now, Mets and Cardinals. Mets are up 5-3. They just said there was 3 outs, but now they're trying to see if the runs come before the third out, I think. I'm not sure what they're doing. The Cardinals manager coming out to argue, and now Showalter is coming out to argue. I don't know what's going on. Titan Chuck said, Joe Burrow will never have swag. You just cringe at this point. I do think he has a lot of swag. I mean, a lot of these 12-year-olds saying Joe Burrow every 10 seconds, I think that part is cringe. So I think he has swag. I just think it's all these stupid 12-year-olds that are just ruining it. They say Joe Burrow every 5 seconds. Like, okay, dude, say it 5 times already in the last minute. But I do think he has some swag. His outfits, he can pull some of those off. The Orioles leading the Yankees 6-5 on the top of the 8th. Padres leading the Phillies 2-0 bottom of the 7th. Mets are up. It's now 5-4 going to the bottom of the 7th. We got the Reds leading the Guardians 4-2 bottom of the 8th. We got Mariners and Red Sox at 7-10. Diamondbacks and Cubs at 7:40, and Rangers and Astros at 8:10. Titan Chuck said Joe Burrow trying to be like Josh Allen. They're both great quarterbacks. They're both high draft picks. Josh Allen definitely has weapons of his own. Both are definitely the brightest young stars in the football has today at the quarterback position. I would say Josh Allen is definitely top 5 quarterback in the game. Josh Allen, I love the St. Louis Cardinals. Believe it or not, Arno is an excellent player. I'm a big Mets fan, so of course I'm rooting for the Mets. Mets are up 5-4. Bottom of the 7th is just underway. Marcano just took a strike. Cardinals are doing pretty well this year, though. They're an excellent organization. They always make good decisions. They always extend their stars. Don't let them hit free agency. They've got the most World Series in the National League, second most in MLB besides the Yankees. They're consistently competitive. They're doing pretty well right now. Looks like they'll have a shot at least to make the playoffs. The Cardinals get some pitching, they'll be elite. They'll say, I agree for sure. Weird on paper, the rotation's actually very good. Just they have so many injury concerns. Michaelis is a guy who's had injury problems. Hudson was hurt a lot last year. Jack Flaherty has trouble staying on the field. And, Adam Lear's still a great pitcher. But he's, on his last legs. He's, 40 years old, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to do what he did last year when he had, I think, a sub-3 ERA last year. They have a very good team. They got some good hitters. Goldschmidt, who kills the Mets every time. Even when he was in Arizona, he's having a big day today. He's had a big series. He always kills the Mets. You got Arenado, and they got a lot of really good hitters. Titan said, Wino is good Mets to show himself. Yeah, as a Met fan, he never really turned out. He was a very, very highly talented prospect, first-round draft pick. And he was always a guy who would flash, but there was always something. First of all, he can't stay on the field. He's had a lot of injury concerns. He's quieted those since he went to Toronto last year and this year at St. Louis. But he never turned into the guy that the Mets thought he was going to be. He had injuries. He would have, sometimes he would go over a stretch of starts where he would have give up a lot of runs in the first inning. He never was really able to pitch deep into ball games, and he's not a bad pitcher overall, but he's like a middle of the rotation guy. But he was expected to be like an ace, so he never really turned out. I know it was weird. Steve Cohen was really pissed off when the Mets didn't get him. He was bashing his agent, which I really didn't agree with because he got what? He got like $10 million a year, I think, Steve Matz, over 4 years. I'm not sure if I would have given that to Steve Matz. He had a good year last year in Toronto. But, he was very inconsistent for years with the Mets, and he has one good year. I'm not sure if, we should just give him a huge contract. Not huge, but a pretty hefty contract off one good year, especially with his injury concerns. Like I said, God hates the Mets, yeah. If you got some MLB news, Max Scherzer has a pretty bad oblique strain. It's a moderate to high oblique strain. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. That's a really tough loss for the Mets. I'm very upset about that. Of course, you've had DeGrom out all season, so now they're down their top 2 aces. The rotation's been really good this year. You still got Chris Bassett, who's a great pitcher. Talon Walker is a very good arm. You have Carlos Carrasco, who's having a really good year. He's having a bounce back campaign. With Talkin also out, now you're looking at David Peterson as your fourth starter. He's a young guy. 2 years ago in the shortened year, he pitched well. Last year was god-awful. He made a couple spot starts this year, and he's looked pretty good. So I'm not too upset with that. I don't know who the heck their fifth starter is going to be until Tyler McGill gets back. I don't think McGill will be out that long. He was placed on the 15-day IL, I think on the 15th, retroactive to the 12th, I think. So I think he can come back maybe. He'll be able to come back sometime next week. That's when he's first eligible. Will he come back when he's first eligible? That remains to be seen. But I don't think he'll be out for more than another week and a half. So I don't know what they'll do for that fifth spot. They'll probably put Trevor Williams in the rotation. I mean, last year he made a couple spot starts and he looked okay. He made a couple this year. He was an opener earlier in the year. He struggled, though. He pitched the other day in a doubleheader, and he did okay. He went 4 scoreless innings. Obviously, 4 innings is not good for a starting pitcher, but they never planned for him to go that deep into that game. So, and he's got starting experience, and if it's not him, they're going to have to throw some minor leaguer in there. They got this kid, Adonis Medina, who's pitched a couple times out of the bullpen for them, and he's looked okay. But he's only got a couple career appearances. I do like his stuff, and he might be a future starter. But I mean, at the end of the day, once McGill gets back, we'll just need David Peterson to be our fifth starter until DeGrom or Scherzer gets back. And then once they're both back, Peterson will either go to the bullpen or back to the minor leagues. But still, as a big loss, Peterson will have his spot. DeGrom's eligible to come off June 7th. It doesn't look like he'll be back then. I don't think he will be. The Mets are taking it very slow offense because the rotation has been so great this year. There's no need to rush him back, and because of how many injuries he's had the last couple of years, that could also be kind of dangerous. He'll have to re-injure himself. Of course, when healthy, he's probably the best pitcher in baseball. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball when he's healthy. I don't even think it's that close, honestly. There's a lot of great arms. Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber's another one. He got some great arms. Walker Buehler, Colton Burns, but I think DeGrom is head and shoulders, if you ask me. But he's still out, and he really hasn't thrown much at all yet. So, do I think, it'll be September? No, but I could see it being at least July for DeGrom. And now it looks like Scherzer is that 6-day week, so now we won't see Scherzer probably until at least August now, if not September. I mean, we got, how much time we left? We got about almost 2 weeks left in this month. So he's done all of June. So hopefully at least by... All right, so maybe for sure maybe we can get him back by sometime early to mid-July. Wow, this Cardinals pitcher's got taken 2 line drives. He had one hit off of him that ended up being an infield hit, and now he had 1 hit off of him again that he ended up getting an out. I'm going to have second and third and 2 out in the 7th. Man, this guy's getting beat up. The trainer just went on the top step. He's like, I just went out there, dude. Turns out to Ohtani is overrated. That's a bold take. To Trout will always be one. I agree. I think Mike Trout is better than Shohei Ohtani. I think Ohtani is an incredible player. He was MVP last year for a reason. He had 47 home runs. He has like a 2.7, 2.80 average. He had like 20 to 30 steals. He had a sub-3.5 ERA last year. What he's doing is incredible. He's like almost Babe Ruth 2.0, being a pitcher and a hitter. But you got so many people. Some of the comparisons to Babe Ruth, I think, are a bit of a stretch. Babe Ruth, the Red Sox was a great pitcher, and then he went on to hit 714 home runs. So, until Ohtani does that, I don't think we can compare him to Babe Ruth. Remember the great MLB player of all time. And then Tyson said, Juan Soto's there, hands down. Juan Soto might be the best hitter I have ever seen. He is amazing. He plays at the Washington Nationals, so he's on one of my least favorite baseball teams. I can't stand the Nationals. I absolutely despise them. But Juan Soto is amazing. I wish he was on the Mets. He is amazing. He might be the best hitter in the entire league. It's either probably him, Vladdy, Trout, or Ohtani. Just the best pure hitter. He might be the best pure hitter. There's no part of a strike zone he can't absolutely hit the ball 500 feet. He is absolutely amazing. And now the Cardinals just got out of the inning. So we go to the 8th, Mets lead 5-4. Like said, Barry Bonds is the GOAT. Okay, first of all, Barry Bonds, put him in the Hall of Fame. Just stop with this BS. Enough with this BS. Him not being in the Hall of Fame. That's a joke. David Ortiz tested positive for the same steroid Barry Bonds did. Barry Bonds was a zillion times better than David Ortiz. Although I do love David Ortiz. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. But if you're putting Poppy in, you damn sure got the Bonds in. Bonds, I'm not sure if I would have him number one, but he's probably top 5 at least. He was incredible. I'll put it to you this way. There are probably at least 90% of hitters that have ever played for MLB on steroids cannot hit a fraction of a Barry Bonds hit, even steroids or not. And Talkin makes a very good point. He had an elite plate vision. He also has the most walks of all time. He would be intentionally walked quite a bit. He got intentionally walked with the bases loaded. So he did have draw a bunch of intentional walks because no one wanted to pitch him because they know there was nowhere you could put him. It didn't matter what you did. He was going to hit the ball 600 feet for crying out loud. But yeah, he had an excellent. He had an excellent view of the strike zone. He had an excellent feel for the strike zone. Very disciplined hitter. It's very rare to see a guy like Bonds who puts up 40, 50, 60 home runs a season. Of course, he's the 1 year where he hit over 70, which is an only record. To have the plate discipline he had, he was incredible, Barry Bonds. Wow, the fact that Derek Jeter's in the Hall of Fame is a joke. Okay. I'm not a fan of Derek Jeter. I think he's slightly overrated. I do. I'm sorry, Yankees fans. He's a little bit overrated. He does not belong in the conversation with the greatest shorts of all time, though I do think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. He won 5 World Series. He was like a 280-something, if not 300 career hitter. So many great moments, 3,000 hits. I do believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame. A-Rod is better. I agree with that. A-Rod was definitely a better player than Derek Jeter. I don't think A-Rod will get in because of the steroids. He probably won't get in. I don't see him getting in. Also, by the way, I cannot stand A-Rod. Is there a single person that likes A-Rod? Not even Yankee fans like him. He's one of the most disliked people I've ever seen in my life. Not even Yankee fans, where he played for like 10 plus years, won a World Series there, and they still don't like him. He is so disliked. I'm not saying he deserves it, but it's just funny. Talkin said, it's a shame that people like Ryan Braun will never get in. Yeah, he was a great player, Ryan Braun. I mean, he only tested positive once, to be fair. In his prime, people forget how good he was in his prime. He was a beast in his prime. He had some back problems later in his career that kind of shortened his career a bit, unfortunately. He was a fantastic player, Ryan Braun, for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ooh, Mookie Betts is overrated, Talkin said. I don't know if I think he's overrated. I think he's a fantastic player. By the way, there are 2 players in MLB history that have, I think it's something like, hit a home run and stole a base or stole third base in the World Series. Babe Ruth and Mookie Betts. And the Red Sox traded away them both. They traded away Babe Ruth for, I don't care what they got back. They didn't win another World Series for almost 90 years after they traded him. That's why he's known as the curse of the Bambino. And they traded away Mookie Betts. They got back Alex Verdugo. They got back Jeter Downs and some other prospect. Verdugo's a good player, but he ain't Mookie Betts. Downs, we'll see. He's still a prospect, and then the other guy, Conor Wong, is a no name. Talkin said he makes one diving catch. People go crazy. I mean, like he's had some great years, and he's a former MVP, but he's had some down years. I feel like for every like MVP caliber year he has like a middle of the pack kind of year. He reminds me of like kind of like Bryce Harper, who I think is extremely overrated as well. Like he'll have 1 year where he's an MVP finalist. He's like a top 5 player in the game, and then the next year he'll have 1 year he'll hit like 320 with like 33 home runs and 108 RBIs. The next year he'll like 280 with 25 homers and 70 RBIs. But when he's on, he's one of the best players in the game. So Talkin said Arenado over Machado until his backward. I agree. Arenado is definitely better than Man Machado. Arenado, I would say, is the best third baseman in all baseball. He's a fantastic player. And since Bryce Harper was underrated, I disagree. I think he's overrated. Outside of his 2 MVP years, look at his numbers. He's been much more towards the middle of the pack. He's not bad. He's a very good player. But for most of his career, he's been like a good, not great player. Besides, I think 2015 when he won MVP, and then 2021 last year where he won MVP, which I'm not sold on him winning MVP last year. I would have said Fernando Tatis, even though he got hurt last year. And Talkin said, yeah, Arenado has the bat and the defense. Yeah, he's one of the best basemen I've ever seen. 9 Gold Gloves he's got. That's crazy. 9 Gold Gloves. He is an amazing defender. Maybe the best defender in all of baseball. He's off the charts. And like you said, he's. I think he's got at one point he had 3 straight years where he had 130 plus RBI with Colorado. He's incredible. Platinum Glove too. Yeah, he's incredible. And I just want to say Mark Collins made a great sliding catch. Now 2 outs in the top of the 8th for the Mets. So we're 1 away from getting to the bottom of the 8th, still up by a run. As for the games for tomorrow, Diamondbacks and Cubs are on 2:20. That game's on YouTube. The game's will be on YouTube. 6:35, Cardinals and Pirates. 6:40, Braves and Marlins. From 7:05, Dodgers and Phillies and White Sox and Yankees, as well as Rays and Orioles. 7:07, Reds and Blue Jays. 7:10, Tigers and Guardians. Also Mariners and Red Sox. 8:10, Rangers, Astros. We also got Twins, Royals, and Nationals, Brewers. 8:40, Mets and Rockies. They're playing 8:40, I guess, because they're playing Colorado. 9:38, Athletics and Angels, and 10:15, Padres and Giants. Mike Trout will go down as the most underrated player in history. Honestly, yeah, very, very quiet. He's actually he's a pretty boring guy. It's not a knock against him. I mean, my life's pretty boring. I wake up between 9 and 10:30 in the morning. I eat breakfast. I chill in my backyard. I do some stuff around the house. I eat lunch. I do this. I eat dinner. I text my friends, come to my house now. Well, let's chill. We do that. They leave late at night, and I watch TV and go to bed. I mean, I'm a boring person too. I'm just, my life doesn't have a lot of excitement in it. But you look at every league, the top players in in the NBA. You guys like LeBron and Kevin Durant. You're always hearing from them. LeBron's always running his mouth about something. Durant's always running his mouth about something. In the NHL, Connor McDavid, our Pujols might have hit it out. Oh boy, but Mark Connor called the warning track. Boy, Albert Pujols, legend, by the way. You look at NHL, Connor McDavid doesn't talk that much, but you hear him a little bit at least. In the NFL, the top players in the world: Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry. You hear from these guys. Brady's always, he's involved in all this other stuff, and Mahomes is you hear from him. Mike Trout's been the best player in the MLB, where we got to be going on at least 5-6 years. You never hear from the guy. Titans Talk said Mike Trout is old school. Yes, he is. He's definitely old school. Bryce Harper had so much pressure in high school and had lived up to it. That is fair. He was one of the most highly talented prospects and superstars we've ever seen. Number 1 overall pick. He had a lot of expectations to live up to. Coming out of high school, he might be one of the best high school baseball players ever. He was the only guys that even compare to him when it comes to how high talented he was were maybe Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when he was in the minor league. But even now, I would say Harper had more hype because back when he was still in high school, we were talking about this guy. When he was a senior in high school. That's right. He did have a lot of expectations, for sure. Right, Mets and Cardinals. Going to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals are putting in Genesis Cabrera, who's a 2.30 ERA on the year. He also had a good year last year. He just gives 100%. That's why people can't say him 110%. Yay. He does. And I never liked him, probably because he used to kill the Mets in Washington, although the Mets have gotten much better pitching to him as he's gotten older. I never thought he was the greatest guy in the world. He's a very good player, but I don't think he's this otherworldly guy. But he's a very good player. I've warmed up to him. I used to hate him when he was younger. I like him a little bit more now. I still am not a huge fan of him. Let's look at the PGA Championship going on. Day 1, we got the leaderboard right now. We got Rory McIlroy at 5 under. He's the leader. Rafael Torres is 1 back. Tom Hogue, I've never even heard of. He's 1 back. Matt Kuchar's only 2 back. Answer's 2 back. Chris Kirk's 3 back. Mito Pereira, Alexander Schauffele, Cameron Smith is 3 back. And Davis Rodgers 3 back. As is Justin Thomas and Matt Fitzpatrick and Kevin Na. There's a bunch of guys after that. You got Tiger Woods struggled today. He shot a 4 over 74. He got off to a good start. He birdied his first 2 holes. After that, he struggled. Only his second outing. After he didn't play for a year because of the car accident he was in. So easy back in. And he even said he's not going to be a full-time player anymore. He just can't do it anymore. He's not a young guy anymore. He's well into his 40s. Tiger Woods will never be the same. People need to accept that. That's a very true statement. He's in his mid to late 40s. He's had so many surgeries. His knees, he's had knee surgery, he's had back surgery, I think like twice. He's had so many injuries over the years. He's been through so much with the thing, cheating on his wife and the DUI. All his injuries, now this car accident was just a nail in the coffin for him. So, I don't know if he wins another major. Maybe he'll win a tournament or two here and there, but I don't see him winning more than maybe he wins one or two small tournaments. But he's not the Tiger that we're used to, unfortunately. I'm a big Tiger Woods fan, so I'm a little sad about that. But yeah, I don't see him doing much else in the rest of his golfing career. He's got nothing to prove. He's one of the all-time greats. 15 majors he's got 15 majors. Second to Jack's 18. But yeah, his career is definitely on its last leg, it seems. And wow, Titans talking about a very bold statement in all caps. Kobe Bryant is getting pushed because he is dead. Ouch. Wow. Titans talk. I assume you're not a Kobe fan. I always liked Kobe, one of the all-time greats. Very, very shameful what happened to him. Dying in that plane crash a couple years ago. He was still only in his mid-40s. That was very sad. But I guess Titans talk is not a huge Kobe fan, it appears. Based on his comment. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a preview for Friday Night SmackDown. Pat McAfee. Yes, he's an announcer on SmackDown. Of course, he had a match at WrestleMania. He's actually a great announcer. He's probably the best announcer, the best color announcer that Michael Cole's ever had. He's actually really good, and his podcast is excellent. People joke about it. His podcast is really, really good. It's a really well done podcast. Dude, get a preview of this. So we're supposed to have a tag team championship unification match between RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champion, and the Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They've been pushing this for weeks. We were going to have it at Backlash, then Roman Reigns ripped up the contract, and it ended up being a 6-man tag match. And now we scheduled it for this Friday, so we'll see. I read an article a week or two ago saying that the WWE is probably not going to do it, unify the tag team titles, even though they've been pushing it for weeks. But it looks like right now it's going to happen this Friday. You never know. Maybe they'll have something happen. Roman will come out or something, and maybe they'll push it to Hell in a Cell. I don't know, but it's scheduled for this Friday, so we'll see. I hope they unify them. The brand was coming to an end. They unified the WWE and the Universal Championship, so that part's gone. And now the tag titles are getting unified, it seems. I would unify them, so now you have have one, overall WWE champion, have, your Intercontinental Championship, have your United States Champion, and then you have your Tag Team Champion. Of course, you got the Women's Championship, which is still Raw and SmackDown, but I wonder if they would ever unify that. They won't do it. I don't think they would do it with Ronda. That wouldn't make any sense. Maybe. I'm fine with Bianca doing it. There's only really 4 superstars, I think, in the women's division that could do that. That could unify the women's championship belt. That's Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair. Titans Talk said, I like Cole, but he's not better than Jordan LeBron. Certainly not better than Jordan. I don't think anyone's better than Jordan. I don't really think it's much of a conversation. LeBron, I am a LeBron hater, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan of LeBron at all. He's one of the all-time greats for sure. He's a top 10 player of all time. But I do think people rank him a little bit too high sometimes. I can't stand what Titans Talk said. I do have Kobe ahead of LeBron. I see the argument both ways, though. LeBron would not last in Jordan's era. That's just a fact. The teams he's been on are a lot better than Jordan's. The teams he's faced has not been near the teams Jordan's faced. He didn't come out of retirement like Jordan did. Always running his mouth. Not a fan. Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT. Wilt Chamberlain is very underrated. He should be in everyone's top 5. The guy was putting up 50 points a game, playing in any era. Yeah, I think that's very true. He was so dominant. He was great. He's at least top 5, if not even top 3. I would put him top 5. My top 5 is probably Michael Jordan, probably Bill Russell, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kobe probably. And Kareem, yes, Kareem was amazing. I have Kareem in my top 3. Kareem was amazing. He had, 5, if not 6 rings. He won some MVPs. The all-time leading scorer, unblockable shot. I liked him, but he would get destroyed by Bill Russell. I agree. Shaq was a great player. He's one of the most dominant players we've ever seen, but he was. Bill Russell would have destroyed him. I agree. I do have Shaq rounding out my top 10. I think he's in the top 10. I have him at number 10, I believe. I did a top 10 NBA players list a bunch of months back on just for the heck of it. I had him at number 10. But yeah, Bill Russell was definitely better than him. I agree. Charles Barkley is definitely right. He was a great player. He's one of the greatest power forwards of all time, for sure. He was a great player, Charles Barkley. And he is the best guy on the TNT show. They're all great. It's one of the best shows on television with Chuck, Shaq, EJ, and Kenny, but Chuck's my favorite on that desk. Yeah, people need to swap on Luke. I agree, Titans Talk. He's a great player. He's one of the best players in the world right now, and whoever LeBron is going to pass, I think he might be the guy LeBron passes the torch to, but yeah. Saying that, I got people saying if he wins a ring, he might surpass Jordan. Stop it. Come on. Like you said, he hasn't won anything. He's got 2 career playoff series wins. His first 2 years in the league, he lost in the first round, and this year he's in the Western Conference Finals. Great, but just, come on. Giannis. Yeah, that's a good point. Giannis, right now, is he might be the guy that gets the torch, honestly. He's either him or Luka. Giannis, he's got 2 MVPs. He's got a ring, a Finals MVP. He's an absolute beast. Hopefully not Booker. He's a great player, but he already struggled in that Game 7. He is a great player. So many great young guys in the league now. Giannis, Luka, Ja, Booker, Donovan Mitchell. Well, Donovan Mitchell has not impressed me in the playoffs. Why is more than LeBron not saying something? Who's that? Is that Devin Booker? I don't know if he wants more than LeBron. LeBron's the biggest whiner I've ever seen. I thought Cochran, what's that the show for? Yeah, they talked way too much crap and too much trash to lose in the second round. That was an abysmal Game 7 performance. By the way, stop putting Chris Paul in your top 5 point guards of all time. Stop doing it. And why is he the point guard? Why is he the point guard? I need to know. Why? Someone needs to explain that to me. Great player, future Hall of Famer, but I'm not a fan, and he's another guy. He doesn't have a ring. He's been to the finals once, and he lost last year. He's lost 7 straight Game 7. He's won 4 or 5 straight 2-0 leads. He averaged 9 points a game in the last 5 games of that series. He's not a good postseason performer. Chris Paul is more of a flopper than a great point guard. Patrick Beverley ripped him apart, saying he gets called. He said he can't guard anybody. He's a terrible defender, and he used to play as Chris Paul with the Clippers. So, and I think in Houston as well. All right, so the Met game, top of the 9th, Diaz is in. Harrison Bader, they're still second. He's on second, nobody out. Diaz is a 1-2 count on Yadi and Molina. Oh, flop first team. Definitely. No wonder Chris Paul and LeBron are close friends. They both flop a lot. So, some more news for Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Ronda Rousey. If she had an open challenge and Raquel Rodriguez answered today, she put up a really good fight, but Ronda won. But Ronda shook her hand after the match. And the Intercontinental Champion will be defended. Ricochet will fight Jinder Mahal. All right, so next week on Raw was supposed to be Sasha Banks. Well, I don't know what they're going to do with the Women's Tag Team Champions. Since Naomi and Sasha Banks just walked out. They were feuding with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, but they're not a tag team anymore. They just broke out. Ronda Rousey hasn't been the same since she got her ass kicked in UFC until Titan Stalker said, yeah. I mean, she's had a decent run in WWE, but she's been women's champion a few times. She's, I don't think she's that good of a wrestler, honestly. She's, in that second, maybe in that second tier. Like that first tier, I would say Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks. I would put Bianca Belair in that category, and then Becky Lynch. In that second tier, I would put her in that category, but she's not an amazing wrestler, to be honest. Brock Lesnar was a go. He is, I would say, the greatest combat fighter in the history of sports and entertainment. He's, when it comes to college wrestlers, I'm not sure if Gable Stevenson has surpassed him or not, but he's one of, if not the greatest college wrestler of all time. It's either him or Gable Stevenson. He was great UFC, one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time in UFC, and he's one of the greatest in WWE history as well. Calling the beast incarnate for nothing, and Diaz just got a big strikeout. Now I run around third and 2 men out. I was like a 9-mile-per-hour fastball against that block. Great pitch by Diaz. It's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. We'll probably see Gunther, once known as Walter. Probably see Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, who was his sidekick guy. He'll make an appearance. So we shall see. That's really all I got for you guys. By the way, Edwin Diaz, he just walked the guy now. Bring up Goldschmidt. Hopefully the Mets can find a way to get him out. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Titans Talk. We had some really good conversations today. Thank you for participating in the chat like you always do when you tune into my show. Until tomorrow, so long, and have a great day.